In order, everyone please stand and recite the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Ashley, can I have roll call, please?
Fisher.
Here.
Briggs.
Here.
Cavalier.
Here.
Brecken. Flott.
Here.
Alt. Here. Epema. Shusta.
Here.
Okay, we have one item on the regular agenda tonight. Ashley, please.
Yes, Your Honor. Item 3.01 is a resolution adopting findings of fact and reasons for approval for a variance application of Brent Epema, doing business as B&E Meats, a Minnesota nonprofit corporation located at 330 3rd Avenue Southwest, Crookston, Minnesota, 56716, Your Honor.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
Move, Your Honor.
I've got Dawn and
I'll second. Joseph. Oh,
Joseph. Thank you.
Okay.
Discussion. Tanner, are you gonna lead us in this one, please?
Sure. First, I would just note, I don't believe that B&E Meats is a Minnesota nonprofit corporation. I'm just, so we're all aware of that, don't consider that when making your decision. Just for clarity here, this is for the variance which relates to the setbacks that would be allowed at the property. The setbacks is the distance from any building or permanent structure to the property lines. This is not in relation to amending the zoning ordinance. That would be at a later hearing, I believe, 1 week from today. So again, this is just for the setbacks. This allows, if approved, B&E to build their structure as they had planned. I would note the planning commission did recommend that it be approved. Otherwise, it's up to the council on if they would like to approve this. Any questions from anyone?
Thank you, Tanner.
All right.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, I have a few. I mean, overall, I mean, I think this business of Brent's is going to be an asset to the community. I mean, I remember going through the COVID time, wanting to get a beef butcher. It's taken up to 2 years in different places. I called to try to get a beef butcher. That being said, I am very disturbed that of how this whole process went down. I mean, we didn't really allow due process to the neighbors in the area, even though this is what we're trying to do now after the fact. But I mean, back when we sold that strip of property between the neighbors, I was on record as saying that I wasn't gonna vote on a variance from anybody that wanted to build, that it would allow a variance on that 30-foot. And I mean, that was just my take on it back then, and there was some discussion on it back then. But you know, now we can't. It's after the fact. We're doing all this stuff after the fact, and I don't think that's fair to, you know, the neighbor in this situation for the setback. Morgan's landscape business over there. I think, you know, if this goes through, I think we owe him some type of compensation for not allowing him to, you know, maybe if we were to have this discussion before the footings were on the ground, we could have said, well, maybe there's a chance that he could have moved the footings over a little bit. I don't know, possibly, maybe not, and then we would have to have a discussion on a variance. But now that it's after the fact, I mean, so the other thing I'm considering is, now, he's got a lot of his contractors there doing the work. I mean, what are we gonna do now? Are we gonna force him to stop and possibly bankrupt a business in town and have him tear down his walls? I mean, I don't think that's a way we should go either. So I'm troubled. I'm troubled at the fact that the city allowed him to build without physically giving him a building permit that he can have in hand. I'm troubled at the fact that he started building without having a building permit in hand. That's something that we can't allow in this city. I think we're dangerously setting a precedent for anybody else to do that and then hopefully come to the council and change the rules after the fact. So even though I'm probably going to vote in favor of the variance, because I am pro-business in this town, so that being said, we're affecting 2 other businesses in a negative way because we have to go about it this way. So that troubles me as well. We have a couple one very long-standing business in town that has contributed deeply to this community that I'm forced to probably vote against, which I hate to do. On the other hand, we got a business that's trying to improve the community, which I think it's something worth talking about. But this is all backwards, and I don't like how it all went down.
Thank you, Delane. Further discussion?
I agree with somewhat what Delane said there. It's something that we may have to work on as far as procedures of doing things like this in the future. So, as Delane said, so setting precedents, I was a little bit upset about it, the same procedure that went through. So, that's all I have.
I would also agree, concur with that. Process is really important, and I think I'm troubled by how this has gone down as well. I'm curious as why we haven't heard from the other businesses in the area. Does that mean it's not important to them? Any change? Does it seem to be only relevant to those businesses close at hand? When clearly the lawn company business, they're concerned about it, the visibility of their own signage because of any variance structure that might be there. That was stated. But it would have been nice to slow it down a little bit. To hear, and if they don't come to the table because they're so busy doing their own activities, which is understandable, we're all busy, maybe reach out to them and say, what do you think? What do you think about this change? And maybe as good business neighbors, maybe they would just all sort of say, well, it's a relatively good thing, but it's hard to measure something when you have the 2 closest businesses, which arguably you could say it's most influential to them, any change. But others would, I think, have to say as well. But I think we're missing voices there, and that's too bad. Yeah, it's a difficult one in terms of, Delane, you mentioned, due process. You're setting, we would be setting precedents for that, and that's very dangerous. Yet, we want to see this city succeed in the industrial area. But if you go back to the master plan and but I guess I'll leave those comments for later, but wanting to see the population grow, one way to do that is you make it as amenable as possible without angering and undoing the businesses you already have that are deeply established. So I would love to hear more comments from other council members to see where they fall out in this.
I agree with Delane. We should do due diligence. Don't set us back or forward, but to make sure that we're doing the right thing for the businesses in our city.
And what does that mean when you say do the right thing? Does that mean moving forward with this or not? I mean, you know what I mean? Because doing the right thing sometimes is very, very hard to do. Because it seems like you can't.
It's up to the council to do that too.
The other thing that I think about too is there was a stop order given by the city, which appears to be much ignored. So I don't know how that works out in the end, but I mean, that's all stuff to consider. But like I said, at the end of the day, this business does benefit the city of Crookston.
Yeah.
It does, and I mean, how can I be sitting here, and one of the reasons why I got on the council is to help Crookston grow and help grow our businesses. So how can I vote against helping a business grow? I can't. And I went back and forth on decision for weeks now. I've woke up one morning and I was gonna do one thing, and then I thought about it some more, and I woke up and I was gonna do another. But at the end of the day, I mean, by not voting to allow Brent to move forward with his business is probably gonna bankrupt him. And then he'll have to close down his whole business, and we won't have even that business in town. And the other thing to consider on the other hand is how is it gonna affect the other businesses? I haven't talking to them at all about it, but maybe they'll just get fed up and leave too. So there's a potential of losing businesses over this thing as well, which I hope does not happen. So I struggle with this decision for a long time.
New Flyer was my home for a long time, so I did reach out to them to ask how they were feeling about it or what their thoughts and opinions were. And overall, their only concern was that the proper permits are filed and that the smell is minimal. That was their number one concern. I agree. I think by approving this, we open ourselves up for all kinds of things, and it is concerning. So what's to stop somebody from building their garage and then coming and asking for a permit later, and where do you draw the line? And so, but it is difficult to vote against a business, and either way you vote today, you're kind of going against a business. So it's a tricky situation. I think that everyone involved with this process knows that you have to get a permit to build, and that stop work order was issued weeks ago, and that work continued for quite a while after that stop work order was issued. Then there was a break, and then the work started again. So to me, that feels like kind of deliberate. Like we don't really care what your rules are. And I don't appreciate that.
For me, I guess, the building is, footings are in, concrete walls are up. They were doing some backfilling today. I mean, I guess we're at the point of no return as far as offering the variance on the building. We've got another hurdle ahead of us on this site, so I guess me personally, because it's just a variance and to move forward with the building, I am okay with that. Is there any further discussion?
So I just want to know, just for my own sake, and Darren, I don't know if you can answer this or not, how often do we allow projects to go through without the builder having a building permit in hand? And if we see buildings going on without a building permit in hand, what happens in that process?
I guess before you speak, Darren, in my own experience in the past, I've seen people put up, minor things, fencing and stuff.
A $5 million project though?
No, but I mean, just, it's about what supports the building department is permitting. So, I've seen, some minor stuff in the past where people have been put up fence or whatever, or shingling or whatever, and hadn't seen a permit, and I do tattle. I come down and tell a building inspector to go and check out address so-and-so. And he does.
So what happens in those cases? Is there fines imposed? Is there?
I think that I don't know, but I'm sure, I've drive by a few days later, there is a building permit hanging visible.
Sorry, did you finish your statement?
Yes.
Sorry. Ned, I was thinking along the lines of, was a penalty fee applied when the stoppage occurred? When you didn't have a building permit, was there a fee to that? a penalty, if you will, a fine?
That I don't know, that would be up to Greg. You got any comment on that, Greg, please?
Yeah, typically during a plan submittal, I do require time to do plan review, which is what it's called. But as far as penalties, there is penalties available to myself. I can, put down basically up to double the amount of the permit fee for lack of getting the permit prior to. So there is penalties available to the city.
How much money are you talking? What is a normal penalty fee?
I haven't calculated that permit fee as of yet. I mean, I haven't, I was gonna see what that would accomplish here, but for a 2 million, I should have brought that in beforehand here. I could go run upstairs and give you that number approximately, but it is,
So you're saying, given what you're saying, what you're not saying, what you calculate is based upon the overall worth value of the project?
basically.
Versus a
But
flat fee.
it could be also based upon the work that was done. I mean, instead of, say, mechanical plumbing costs, it would be based on the general footing foundation cost, for example. That's kind of variable. This could be, in general, it could be just a basic portion of the permit that relates to the general building costs rather than plumbing mechanical is what I'm referring to. And just for reference, I did a permit for Walmart. I guess that was $2.5 million. That was about $10,500 for the permit. That was mechanical, plumbing, and general construction. But it's the smaller projects, just for reference.
Thank you.
So does that answer your questions?
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
Further discussion? Let's have roll call, please.
Fisher,
Aye.
Briggs,
Aye.
Cavalier,
Aye.
Plot,
Aye.
Alt,
Aye.
Shostel.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.